Cortland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report, and it's the Kentucky Derby where the volume is turned all the way up and everything is in capital letters. And when you look at this field, I'm breaking this down to the horses out of the Louisiana Derby as my top picks. There are a lot of horses, as you see on this list, that based on the speed figures, just like in 2020, I'm just not so sure. I'm going to stick with the position that they're not going to improve enough to really hit the board in this Kentucky Derby, much less win it. So with that being said, I think that Midnight Bourbon, who like Hot Rod Charlie, I've liked them from the start. Hot Rod Charlie got a decent number at 8-1 on the morning line. Midnight Bourbon really looks good because he's training well. He drew well out of the 20, out of the 10, and he's 20-1. So he's giving you some value. I think he's live in here, as is his stablemate Superstock, who's got a 30-1 number coming out of post number 18. We're going to find out if he, along with Highly Motivated, whom Chad Brown said he wanted to rate, which was obviously good news, but I've said all along, no matter where he drew, he was going to show speed. He's certainly going to have to when you have no shortage of no less than 10 horses inside of him that are going to show some speed. So he, along with Known Agenda on the other end of the spectrum, coming out of the number 1, we're going to see if he, with that curling pedigree that everyone covets, he can get every bit of that 10 furlongs. He's definitely going to have to step up and get that good position with 8 horses with speed on the outside of them. So that's going to be very, very interesting. As Todd Pletcher once said, you have horses that get bad post positions and run great races and horses that get ideal posts and run lousy. So we're going to find out what the outcome of that's going to be based on his own runner, one of 3 in here for Pletcher. So with that being said, like I said, the picks that I'm looking at, if you want to go with just speed figures and toss out all the slower horses that they're not going to improve, the 15, the 9, the 7, and the 14, Essential Quality filling out that box, or the 15, the 9, the 7, and the 17, Highly Motivated finishing 4th. The alternative numbers would be the 10, the 6, the 8, and the 1, maybe Known Agenda hitting the board. Then my top 2 picks, my co-number 1s. The second would be Midnight Bourbon beating Hot Rod Charlie with Essential Quality 3rd, and then, of course, the 15, Rock Your World. And then you can flip those 2 horses, because I think one or the other, if not both, are going to perform well, with Hot Rod Charlie being my final slightly top pick, just by a little bit, the 9, the 10, the 15, Rock Your World, and the 6, maybe O Besos, out of that Louisiana Derby, or possibly the 8, Medina Spirit. Maybe he does run well enough, along with Essential Quality, maybe filling out the tail end of your Superfectas. Those are kind of the horses that I like in here. Again, the tiebreaker being for me, Hot Rod Charlie, getting pretty much an identical Beyer speed figure to Rock Your World, but he did it at 1 mile and 3/16, the Preakness distance versus the 1 mile and 1/8 that Rock Your World navigated so well in the Santa Anita Derby. That's the difference maker for me in this Kentucky Derby. We're certainly going to recap it in the build up to the second jewel, the Triple Crown, the Preakness, right here at the CS Racing Report.